All right, Todd. So, well, congratulations, man, on closing your first deal. I think it's a great progress, and it's only the first one. You've been live with us for around, I would say, a month and a half or so.
Hmm.
All right. So, having your first deal definitely it's really good, and I would love to hear a little bit more about what you have accomplished with that particular one. So, Todd, let me ask you, well, would you give me a little bit more context about what was the seller situation and the condition of the property?
Sure. So I actually got the lead that came in. It was kind of late. It was around almost 10 p.m., 9:45, close to 10. And I called her back right away. And it was actually the seller's agent who sold the seller the home like 15 years ago. And the reason that they wanted a cash offer is because the seller needed to move quickly back on the market and go through all that. So I connected with the seller's agent. She gave me the information. I went out quickly and saw the home and presented an offer. And thankfully, it was at a level where, I could make some money. But yeah, I locked it up, I think, fairly quickly after establishing the connection with the agent and began marketing it from there.
Right? That sounds great. So, well, that's amazing that actually the lead came in late and still, even so far from business hours, you decided to call them right away. So that's a proof that speed to lead makes a huge difference when you need to get them on the phone, particularly when the motivation is high, right?
Yes.
Now, this was not the seller, but the seller's agent. So, do you deal all the time with the seller's agent?
Yes, I never had contact with the seller. It was all through the seller's agent, but it was great because she was professional. She understood, we needed to get access. She had a lockbox on the property so we can go in there and my end buyers who I assigned the contract to had access. So it was great working with her because it turns out, she knew the what needed to be done in order for her client to sell the house.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Good stuff, man.
definitely.
What whole deal was that?
You said what kind of a deal?
Yes.
It was an assignment. It was a single family home in Covington, Georgia, and the home was actually in pretty good shape. It was just very, messy. It had a bunch of things that needed to be removed. Um, it didn't need a ton of renovation, so I thought it might be a good, buy and hold for someone. But the end buyer is actually going to try to, um, spend minimal amount and then flip it, put it back on the market.
Oh, got it. So it was a wholesale deal.
Yes, I'm sorry, it was a wholesale deal, correct?
Great. All right, nice. Now, Todd, do you think that you learned something from this deal that you will be planning to apply in future deals?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like you said, it's like they preach and they teach, and it's the speed to lead. Before I would have, looking at it like 10 o'clock at night, I would not have called her back, but I did, and I think that helped to secure it. So putting that um, that into play, I think certainly helped to get the deal. And I learned that you got to do that on every single one that comes in.
You got it, man.
Yeah,
That is amazing. I'm really glad that you having that that perception out of a positive result, right? So definitely there is proof that speak to lead is crucial and it works. So that's great, man. Congratulations. Um,
thank you.
no problem, man. Now, would you walk me through like your sales process with these sellers? Like what techniques or strategies do you use to build rapport and negotiate this deal?
Definitely, definitely. So with her, she wasn't direct. She was the agent for the seller, but um, I treated it pretty much the same. I always, try to build that rapport and, try to listen very well and almost create like a level of rapport or a friendship on the phone and just try to be the best listener that you can be. And again, just try to go through my list of quick questions about the home. But again, I just try to establish, some respect and rapport on that first phone call. And if I can get all the information from that, that's great. I still try to set up a phone call like the next day, and on this one I did. And when I called back, I presented the offer and we negotiated a little bit on the price and we ended up on the price on that second phone call. But to answer your question, the first one is just again to build a friendship, build rapport, get as much information as I can about the property, set up that second call and go to close on the second call.
That is huge, man.
Yeah.
That is really, really good. So this happened hybridly, right? Like part was over the phone, but you also went to the property and saw it.
Yes and no. I started it obviously over the phone and locked it up over the phone. And then once I had it under contract, I went to the property just to take pictures. So
Oh, all right.
yeah,
So everything happened over the phone, and then
yes,
after having it under contract, you went for some pictures.
correct. That's right.
Okay, good stuff, man.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to convert this lead into a deal? I think it
That
was one of the initial leads, if I'm not mistaken.
this one it was thankfully it didn't take long. I think again the seller had some motivation. I think it only took about a few days because again, um, I think she had a low number on her price and we may have met it or came real close, so we got it locked up quickly. Like it probably took a few
Yeah,
days, maybe 2 or 3 days.
that is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, your process has been great. As you said, speak to lead is definitely key. And I would also love to hear the breakdown of the deal. So like by the numbers. So what was your ROI? Well, you mentioned you're gonna get 5,000, right? 5 grand, even though
Yes.
you were expecting to get like 15 grand.
Yes. Yes. That's correct.
So what was the change? Like what was the challenge that you encountered in the middle of the process that made you, kind of drop your profit?
So this one was in a market about an hour from where I typically do business. This was in Covington, Georgia, and I try to stay within the Atlanta area. So this is about an hour away. And although it was in a nice neighborhood and it was a nice house built in early 2000s, I just did not have a ton of buyers for Covington homes. So I put it out there and I just got, just a few bites, a little bit of activity, but I did have some buyers that own in Covington and the surrounding city of Conyers. So they ultimately were the buyer. But again, I thought that maybe if I had a better buyer database or maybe had more buyers in that particular market, I could have done better. Um, but I thought that there was enough spread there to make, 10 or 15, and at the end of the day, it was only five, and just an assignment, but it still will take it. And I'm happy to get that first one under my belt with Hesel.
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, great. Now, so I'm curious. So, are we targeting this area specifically, or it was an out of area lead?
It was kind of an out of the area lead. It was you know, it was out of like my four counties that I typically like to work in and stay within. And
Hmm.
it's about an hour away, so I would say it's a little bit right on that fringe, you know. If it's an hour or less drive, I think that's fine. So just a little bit outside of what you would like, but and again, it's just I think it comes down to um, where the investors are buying and what are popular areas, and that one is just not super popular and not as hot of a market as some other ones you would like to have, but still
Yeah,
it's if you can make money, it works.
definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, that makes it even better, because sometimes, people is reluctant to work on deals out of their target area, but we can definitely notice that there is still money on those leads. It's just about getting these people on the phone and take it from there, right?
100%. I think in any market, if a deal is priced right, you're going to find a buyer for it. So
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you got it.
we just got to get them priced right.
Man, that's great. That's great. That shows also that every single lead is an opportunity as long as we are open to work them out and to be resourceful finding a solution for these sellers, right? So this
Definitely.
is this is amazing, Todd. I mean, it's not only about the money, it's also about what you can learn from each one of every single lead that you work on.
Yeah,
So
for
this is
sure.
this is really fantastic. Let me ask you, Todd. So usually, what metrics or what data do you evaluate to consider, well, yeah, to evaluate the potential profitability of a deal?
Um, I look at first you know, the ARV of the property. It has to make sense for that end buyer.
Hmm.
So, what I try to do is look at the property in its current state and find out if if it's going to be a full rehab or not. What is the ARV? If there's other homes within that immediate market that have been renovated and flipped and what those had sold for, I think that's kind of important. Like if a home is sold for 350,000, for instance, and it's totally renovated, but it was, last sold for, 200 or 225, and you knew it was just, a quickly or a recent sale, you knew that was flipped, then you knew that, okay, well, in this market, it probably needs to be priced around that 225,000 mark for it to hit the ARV of, 345 or 350 or whatever the one that you are looking at sold. So the metrics I try to look at are what's sold comp wise in that immediate market, and if it was a flip property, what that price was that the flipper paid for it when they bought it, if that makes sense.
It does total sense. Good stuff. Um, Now let's talk about Hesel Media, Todd.
Hmm.
So what do you think about our service?
I think it's awesome. I never had marketing before where it's not outbound. I've done, postcards and letters early on in wholesaling, and I've hired cold callers and have done cold calling myself. And it's just a grind, and it works. All the marketing channels work, but I really, really do like the leads that come in because again, it's someone raising their hand, whether they have a problem, and it's just it's awesome because you can pour all your energy into that lead, and you're dropping everything when you get that message that you got a lead that came in. You could be sitting down for dinner, or it could be at night, it could be in the morning. It doesn't matter. I mean, I try to look at it like it's a cash register, and it's just dinging. So
Oh yeah.
make the best of it, and you know try to utilize every lead that comes in and call them back, you know ASAP. So I love it. To answer the question, so far so good. I love it. Always want more deals, and I know they'll come.
Oh yeah, they'll come for sure. Now, how do you think our marketing strategies and coaching contributed to your success with this deal?
I think that, I just wouldn't have the deal without Hesel Media, period. I mean, I never have done digital marketing, never have done Facebook ads or Google ads. So I wouldn't have the deal, period, without Hessel. I wouldn't pursue a deal in that market without Hessel. I don't market to that county in that area. So it all came because of, the Facebook lead, period.
That is
And
amazing.
yeah, and again, I'm on the weekly calls, the coaching calls, and you guys and Jesse are great. I try to pick up something every week from that, and Jesse's excellent. He's got a lot of knowledge and a lot of good ideas that I'm trying to pick up every call.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is really good.
And you too, man. You're always at, always there to answer my questions, like earlier in our call, and every week, and guiding me through, the steps, and what I need to do, and it's been great.
Nice. That is really good, and thanks for mentioning it.
Yeah, man.
We truly appreciate that. Now, would you recommend our services to other real estate entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely.
That is terrific. So now, Todd, let's spill the tea, and we need to know your secret, brother. So, what do you think you're doing that is different to others that is giving you and generating results?
Um, I don't know. I don't know if I'm doing anything different, honestly. Just without trying to sound cheesy or like, sales gimmicky. Again, just trying to make a connection on that first call, and I think, um, that's about it. That, and I generally, or excuse me, genuinely want to help the person out, and of course, make a commission on a wholesale deal or whatever we do to dispo the property or keep the property. Um, but man, I don't have like a silver bullet type of thing. I just, again, just try to do the best I can to listen very well on the phone, and um, just try to make a connection as soon as possible with the seller.
That is fantastic. And trust me, probably that is what you're doing different, particularly the part of connecting and being a good listener. Sometimes we are so transactional in this type of conversations that we forget the importance of connecting with people and understanding emotions. And in the end, it's key because these type of decisions, people usually make them from the emotional side and not from the reason side, right? So understanding emotions, it's huge. And sometimes many investors, many people will forget about that.
Yeah,
So trust me, that might be the thing that you're doing different that is giving you good results. Now,
awesome.
what piece of advice would you give to other real estate investors that are just starting out and trying to close their first deal?
Just trust that the leads will come in, and just sharpen your tools to close those leads, because I know I've got to do that. And one thing I forgot to mention that I didn't do before Hessel was novation agreements. So
Oh yeah,
something else, yeah, that's something else that, like, again, I kind of had a wrong definition of a novation, and there might be different kind of strategies with innovations, but just the introduction through Hessel to like the Novation King. I've been on the phone I probably had 6 calls with those guys trying to get, seller in the right position for Novation. So that's good. But I think just, do what Hessel teaches, the speed to lead, and you guys lay it out there. You just have to follow the system. And again, I just have,
You got it.
yeah, I just got, there's one deal under my belt, but I know that I've got more in the works and more will come.
That's absolutely right. And yeah, for sure, more deals will come. I'm definitely positive about it. And actually, I was actually about to ask you about that. So you kind of mentioned at the beginning of our conversation today that you are in the works with other couple potential deals. So what's cooking in your pipeline right now, Todd?
I've got some offers out that were not accepted, but again, the follow-up is there, so I'm following up with these folks. I've got another one that we put under contract um, a couple days ago, which I feel good about, which I don't want to get ahead of myself, but it looks like it could be a paycheck and a good deal. So I'm going to keep working that and find my buyer on that one. And then just keep fielding the ones that are coming in. So it's
That is fantastic.
trying to follow up. I mean, not trying, but following up every day.
That's the key.
Yep.
Definitely. All right. So this was Covington, Georgia, right?
Yes.
Okay. And when the lead came in, was it listed in the MLS by any chance?
No. No. It was not.
Now, what was the initial seller's asking price?
I think the initial asking price or in the notes where she filled in the lowest price she would accept was like I think 245 or 240.
All right,
And I was able to get it under contract at 215.
215.
Yep.
Oh, okay, perfect. Is it definite that your revenue of this deal is gonna be 5K, or is there still a chance to be higher?
No, it closed today and it's 5,000. It's just an assignment.
All right, gotcha.
Yep.
Good stuff, man. Now, do you happen to remember what was, even though you did not contact the seller but their agent, do you happen to know what was the motivation for the seller to sell the property?
Yes, she apparently is like a nurse and she was moving out of her primary home to move into the home of the person she was going to take care of. So she was moving
Oh,
because of
wow.
her job as like a nurse or a caretaker.
Got it. All right, interesting.
Yeah,
Did you say it was a difficult deal to handle or more like an easy one?
easy. It was easy because it was just yeah, it was it- thankfully there was motivation there with the seller and the seller's agent and it was more on the easy side.
All all right. Well, that is fantastic, Todd. Hey, man,
Yeah,
congratulations one more time. I'm really happy for you and looking forward to see those other closings that are coming for sure.
I appreciate it, brother. Me too.